Hello, Brooke. Nice meeting you. How are you, first of all?
Great. It's been an exciting month, it's always just kind of fun to celebrate something that has been fun. So it's exciting to, kind of feels like a birthday for the last month. And just it's like a little extra topping on a cake. So I'm really happy right now.
And congratulations. Congratulations on being nominated for an Emmy. That's yeah, as like I've, done a bit of dancing, but like that idea of, you dive into an art form and, you're there for the dancing, you're there for the love of the dancing. And then, to have a career that's gone so many different places like yours has, and then being nominated for an Emmy, how does that feel?
I've felt very fortunate in my career. I think when I was a little bit younger, I was always like wanting more. There was dancers who like worked all the time. They were like back to back, job after job after job. And I didn't really have that same career, but I had amazing quality. So like the quantity to quality, like the list when I like can say like my top 5 jobs are just like, whoa, that was really big. Like that was a really huge thing that there was kind of a once in a lifetime that happens. And I feel like I was so fortunate to be a part of those things. And so I always have been, a little bit more on that humble side of things. Like you never know what's going to come up. It's not like these jobs are coming every second of the day. So I always feel really fortunate about it. And as a dancer, I think we learned that we are background in a way, like we were never
Yeah.
the stars. And so I feel like I try and star in my moment, but I'm always there to support something. So I also love feeling that support around it and have never really gone like, okay, well, what's next? I need that. But these little moments, like, there's only 2 awards that choreographers can really get nominated. I mean, there's certainly more, but like when you can get a Tony and you can get an Emmy for that, like it really puts that sort of high on that list of amazing feeling of like, I didn't think I needed this. It wasn't ever in that frame, but wow, I feel so fortunate to be on this list with people. And, just to get some that recognition just is wonderful. I've loved what I've done. Sometimes it's hard to explain to people what you do, like, they, oh, you're still dancing at this age, or what does that mean, or I don't understand. But like, or you used to get that, what does it mean to be a dancer? Oh, so you always dance with the pole. It's like, no, that's not what we do. So it just feels like really beautiful to be able to share that and have people kind of understand as well the level of quality of what we strive for. And so I feel very fortunate, and it's just made all that hard work really pay off.
Yeah, it's just a nice, helpful reminder, because as a dancer, you're just really focused on the art form, right? Like you're focused on trying to help with the storytelling and putting that art out there. And like things like Emmy nominations aren't really like what you're thinking about when you're doing this.
No, I've never put that sort of title. Again, it's like you work with an artist and you're like, oh, I hope that artist gets recognized or whatever. You want the music video that you're on to be successful or wherever those things are. But again, being a dancer now, also being the choreography is like I know where my place flies in this whole department. There's 100 departments going on. We need the actors. We need every crew. It's not stop the world. The dance is here. It's how can we make this so seamless that everybody is happy? We made the day better. We made the film better. We made the pitch. Whatever we're doing, we made people smile today. Like that's really my focus of my job. And so when it happens to work and it's like, okay, I did this, I didn't make it worse. I People want us to be here again, and it's beautiful. Like it's just so fun to share that. It's just fun to share my craft.
It is,
I've
yeah.
been loving dancing since I was 6 years old, and like I still teach it. I don't want to do anything else. I don't want to type papers. Like I don't, I love moving. So I'm just really love that it's working, and that
Yeah.
I also go home and have my family and my kids around. you know.
That's amazing. And you've already had like so many successes in your career. This is just adding to it. I mean, like you've had things like Glee and Rock of Ages, Britney Spears tour. Like I'm looking at the list of like things that you've done, and it's there's so many. Like
Feels good. Yeah, they have, again, they're these very amazing, iconic moments that I feel like, wow, that was, and people understand what that is. It's like you say, I was on tour with Britney Spears. They're like, oh, we know who that is. That's a fun little trophy that was a part of my life that changed my life.
what are for you as an artist? What are your top career kind of highlights that you carry with you always?
Definitely Britney. I mean, Britney was so iconic and life changing. And I started around 21 at that time, and all I wanted to do was be on stage and perform. And I remember like going to that audition and being like, I wonder who's going to get this job, because that's how I always felt. And
Yeah,
and when that slow progression, like the day that, you're sitting there in that final callback and like, I'm going to be doing this. Like, I'm going to be doing this. It's like it really was everything I had wanted. And it did stand up to that. I mean, again, doing like starting with Slave was probably the most iconic stuff to do. So like it
yeah.
really was that. Glee changed my life. I was still kind of a dancer, and my partner, Zach Woodley, when he, after the audition, just like, you're getting a little old, and not in like the dancer world, but Ryan Murphy world. Like I was, 28, like he wanted high school kids. So like really, and he's like, do you want to assist me instead? I was like, absolutely. We got to hang out every day. And then just that really took off choreography world, like learning the other side of not just what it takes to choreograph, but just the business side of what it is, the scheduling and this and hiring. And so that was so life changing. I mean, to do over 700 musical numbers on film,
That's insane. Yeah.
really taught you, like we dance with bicycles and fire and water. And so it's like, ask me what to do. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Let's try, and anything new is even more fun. And then, I feel really fortunate. The last two big shows, like jumping from Glee and being asked to do Lucifer, they like the first thing is like, we're going to dance at the Hollywood Bowl. And then your next number is we're going to put on a full ballet. And again, I felt like I jumped into this show that just was allowing the platform of like, of really unique experiences. And then working with that cast and watching the creation of them kind of sitting around, it's like, we should really do a musical. We should do a musical. And it's like, all of a sudden we did a musical, and it was so great. It was great. It felt like you were back at the beginning, working with like listening to the music and the progression of it. And then when Palm Royale, again, just a different, iconic, beautiful show that had never really been done. And amazingly, it wasn't all about the big dance stuff. It was now like, this is a whole new other craft of acting and dancing and dialogue conversation. And that was something that, again, out of all this time that I've been doing, I've never done. I've never worked on a full, 14-page dialogue scene that was a dance number, because
Could you
we
talk to
didn't.
me more about the Palm Royale and how that integration of kind of that storytelling and dance just being a part of that kind of conversation? Could you tell me what that experience was like on set or working with directors and the DP and everybody else?
Yeah. So it was really beautiful and daunting, and like I so overwhelmed all at the same time. Like you get this script. It was 14 pages of these actors all having these like places that they had to go. It was beautifully written. So you saw it, but then it was like, where do we start? You really just like, it's very different. You put on music and you create a dance sometimes. And this was like, no, first I have to do a map. We have to really find out where we want to be. So it was, a lot of work with Abe and going, where's everyone getting to? Like, what is our endpoint destination? How are we going to make this fight feel natural and real and chase and go through it? And then, anything that's planned is so kind of hard to look real. And so it was like, really, how do we find that finesse in it? And then once sort of those key moments of like, this is where this group will connect, this is where this group will connect, once that map started to go and play, then it was like, okay, let me start to put some stuff together and see if this works. And so, I think with, again, the years that I've been at least doing with choreography, understanding that television is time, and we got to get that scene done, and we want to get it done as quickly as possible. So I want to give the actors as many chances to get it right, but now we have pages and pages and pages of this, so we want to get it right first. So all those things that you sort of change later on, of like, oh, well, their angle isn't right, or can we really adjust this to the other side of the room? I try to really eliminate all those issues. So every way that they were angling was so that that person's conversation was constantly, you saw their head and then they danced, and now you saw the next person's head and then you saw the next, and really trying to create all the problems we were going to have with shooting a dialogue scene and fixing that in the dance. So that was sort of a really fun challenge, and it was a really sort of fun, like, can I solve these problems? Because that's what I like to do. I like to solve the problems. So you walk in and you gave them the perfect thing. And then what was so great is, yeah, you had such an amazing core group of everybody who worked on the show. Obviously, like the costumes and the makeup, the way that everybody walked in, the way the set was gorgeous, the way it was all lit, even every background who was casted looked so right of the part, all the details. And then we get into that process and, kind of then being able to present it for the first time. Now you're showing the DP the first time. Now you're showing the cameras where they all are, and now getting to go, okay, now this is how we're all set up. Oh, I see where your issue is. I see where, okay, how can we all fix it? Okay, dancers, move to that side, this. And now you're in the live puzzle piece, creating it all together so that, again, it doesn't look like somebody is just stationary trying to hold this place. You have 3 camera angles to fill it. Your job is to now fill in every one of those boxes and make it look like it worked perfectly without looking over the corner of your eye. And at the same time, we didn't dance to music. Because they're recording dialogue, the dancers would just had like underlying beat. So they still have to have a life of the party going on and the actors doing their thing. So it was this live breathing number that was so, again, unique into that experience. And even for the dancers, dancers know how to dance, but to be able to contain where they were in their head, what time of that part of the number, where they're supposed to travel to, and then not have that recognition of music that usually leads them, was also like a new sort of journey. So we were all in there together and all like helping each other out, and what can we do? Oh no, we can move to this side. We got and that's what working with the camera and the DPs and everybody else, with everyone's brain putting it in. And that last bit is, you have such talent that makes it all work. And then very talented actors too, as well, that make it gorgeous, and that's a treat too, because it's really, the main job is to make the actors look great and not to have them uncomfortable. And it's not about doing the best arm. It's what's the best arm that makes them look fantastic, So it was a constant growing piece that, again, at the end of the day, you took a breath. And then when it translated and saw the final product on screen, it was like, wow, that's what was written. We did it. You went page by page and go, that's exactly what I was reading. And it all came together, which is also sometimes that rare thing. You're like, okay, we did the job. We got everything. It was just a constant excitement because it wasn't anything that you'd ever done before, or at least I hadn't done.
Well, I mean, as you know, for those watching this that aren't dancers, basically you were told, hey, let's give you a challenge and not give you anything that you're used to having as a dancer when it comes to music, when it comes to anything else. And let's create this choreography with people, with movement, with cameras, with dialogue, and that's just such a unique challenge that I'm sure like it's refreshing to have that those kind of new challenges pop up, and especially now being recognized for that challenge.
No, it really is super fun, and it's. I mean, and I just as you're talking about it and thinking about it, it's like if someone just told you to go walk, it's why acting and all that stuff is so weird because it's supposed to be natural. But as soon as you are told to go walk across the street, go pick up a bag, all of a sudden you're thinking like, what? How am I walking? Or why?
How do my hands work?
Yeah, and the dancers are always like talking, like all of a sudden they're like, I should be acting. And it's like, wait, that's exactly what we don't want to do. So making all those natural bits in there it was just sort of that fun beat. Is like, go make that look like a real party, and we're gonna do that same party for 4 days. And so it always has to look like a perfect party. And again, it was just a beautiful, really different challenge that in some ways I wasn't actually sure if anybody would understand. And so I think that's part of the really excitement of the recognition for at least me in the dance world is that I do this a lot. I do actor movement a lot. And so when you say, "Oh, I worked on a show," and you're like, "Well, what did they do?" It's like kind of like walked and like did this like they did they did it's not they didn't do a kick line, and this was a massive working piece that it was really cool that I think the community understood the level of it without it being an obvious dance number. And I think that's sort of the proud feeling is like it's seen a different side to the challenge of scripted television.
That congratulations on all of it and all the recognition, and thank you so much for talking with us today. And I wish you all the best and a continuing budding career like you've been having. So thank you so much.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.